Hello and welcome to Command Point. I am Shane and I'm here with Ryan. For the old timers listening to this video, we had an old video during the last edition that was called The Problem with Custodies, and it was basically about how Custodies are dumb to play against and how they didn't really fit in the game, which I stand by. And here we are, new edition, new Custodies, basically, Talons of the Emperor, although it might as well just be Custodies.
Yeah, because Custodies are the problem here. Not the Talons of the Emperor as a whole, just the Custodies themselves.
Because now they are still, kind of like in last edition, they're still not very fun to play against, but now, unlike in last edition, they are over the top broken, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have some tournament results to go off of and talk about, because this is actually like unlike anything we even saw in last edition, this level of dominance. We've pulled up 5 tournaments here, which I'm pretty sure are the 5 biggest tournaments that have happened. Right now it's the 21st of September, so we just had another weekend of tournaments like Warhammer World. Let's start with this was actually just recently on the 19th. Kingdom War Games over in Spain. Spain is a very rich kill team scene, lots of tournaments, lots of players. This was a 29-player tournament, and Custodies, Talons of the Emperor, placing first and third place, by the way. Daniel Marcos placing first, and Danny Fenrir placing third. And get used to this, guys. Warhammer World, which is so far the biggest tournament that we've had, 38 players. Talons placing first and second. And then we've got Kill Team ITC Kickoff Tournament that happened over in Maryland. Again, Talons of the Emperor, first place and second place. The Bad Moon Tournament that happened over in London a couple weeks ago. We have Custodies in first. The GT Catalunya over in Spain. I don't know when this one happened, but it was a 20-player tournament. Custodies went 5-0, placing first. There is there's something wrong here.
Yeah. Like, I would have thought that maybe, like, the best way to run this kind of faction would be with sisters and 2 Custodies, because it's like, hey, you don't really need 4 Custodies. We were talking to Janice Gillum, who won the Maryland tournament that you had mentioned earlier, and she said, no, the whole time I ran it, I just took the 4 Custodies, and was just absolutely able to dominate.
Yeah, and that seems to be what everybody's doing, from what I've heard from these results. They really aren't featuring Sisters of Silence. It's just the 4 Custodies team.
Yeah, and that sucks, right? Half of the kill team doesn't even see the light of day in competitive play, which is just sad.
And those models are pretty solid too. The Sisters of Silence.
No, they aren't
why
bad.
would you take them?
Apparently it's wrong to take them. Should we just talk about the Custody data sheet, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few things here that are just insane right off the bat. They have 4 APL, which is the most in the game, and I think it's definitely part of the problem. 18 wounds, 2 up save. They hit really hard in melee, and they are really good at shooting, and they hit on 2s. They're basically like the leader type of a normal Marine team with more wounds, a better save, and with the Guardian Spear, for instance, usually like a champion or a sergeant is going to have a weapon kind of like the melee version of the Guardian Spear, and then they'll have like a plasma pistol. The Custodies are getting an actual flex model, and if they want to give up that flex, then they get a Storm Shield, which is a 4-up invuln, and they, in combat, when they parry, they can discard 2 of your opponent's hits instead of 1. They're just really strong.
Absolutely no shortcomings with this data sheet. There's no trade-off or anything. They're incredibly hard to kill. They have so many wounds. They're incredibly efficient in close combat and at shooting, but really what takes them over the top here has got to be their ploys, right?
Yeah, 3 in particular. There's Aegis of the Emperor, which they're already so hard to kill. But you activate the strategic ploy Aegis of the Emperor, and then for the whole turn, whenever they take critical damage, you just choose for it to take normal damage instead. As if it's not hard enough to get damage through onto Custodies, they can activate this every turn, and they might as well never die. And then there's Peerless Warriors, which when you have APL 4, this is going to be really strong. Basically, it's not you choose to shoot twice or choose to fight twice. You just take Peerless Warriors, and then you can do either one.
And that's wild.
Yes, I mean, you can be shooting twice and then charging and then fighting. and you could be killing 3 models in that one activation. And with the other ploy that we're going to talk about, this is a tactical ploy, Brotherhood of Demigods. You use this at the end of the firefight phase, or when it is your turn to select, or when it is your turn to activate an operative. You select a Custodies model, and they just get to do a free action, any action. They basically, one of them gets to have 5 APL, and it basically gets to operate outside of the normal activation order. And this, I think, is the craziest thing. And this doesn't count as an activation, by the way. You activate, and then you pop Brotherhood of Demigods, and you could just pick him to do a move, and then he actually activates. And at that point, you can basically do whatever you want. You can get a long bomb charge in, or you can do it at the end of the firefight phase. Like normally, when your opponent activates their last model, there's no more Overwatch. You can just pop this at the end, and then not only are you getting to shoot, but it's not even Overwatch. You just get to do a shoot activation. Or you can charge and set up for next turn, or you can fight again. And it's like, these guys already have 4 APL. They're already shooting twice, or fighting twice, possibly both.
They really don't need another free action.
It's so open-ended. There's so much that you can do with this.
Yeah.
So this team isn't just like a pub stomper. Like a good player can pick up this team and do a lot with it. They have so much freedom. And I think that's why they're winning all these tournaments. I mean, you give them these amazing data sheets, and you give them these ploys where basically the sky is the limit, and they're going to win every game.
And we haven't even gotten into their equipment yet. But honestly, like just their bare minimum stats and the 3 ploys that we've mentioned here is really why Custodes is such a problem right now in a competitive kill team, and why they're taking down all of these tournaments.
Honestly, from the perspective of support from GW, this is a big like prove it moment. I mean, we're probably going to have an FAQ or an errata coming out soon, and if they were to try and scale this team back a little bit, it would really garner a lot of good faith from the community, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they were talking about how, and honestly, to GW's credit, I will say for the vast majority of factions, they are pretty well balanced. There's nothing really that sticks out to me that is like the equivalent of like Crude or Elucidian Starstriders from last edition. I mean, right now they're in a good spot if they're able to tame down the Custodes in a pretty nuanced way, where they can not even knock them down a tier, but just like take away like something, and just make the games a little bit more competitive against them. You know, it'll do a lot of good for the game. It'll be great for the health of the game. So, yeah, and I think they will. I mean, these tournament results are ridiculous, and you really can't argue with them. Numbers don't lie. Thanks everybody for watching. A very special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters supporting us over on Patreon. This Saturday we're going to be streaming the final round top table game from the first tournament in the Command Point tournament series, our tabletop simulator tournament circuit. But yeah, hope you guys tune in for that. We'll see you then. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.